What's going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Patrick Siepman, and we got a lot to break down as football is back for the Minnesota Vikings. OTAs have started. Day 2 was today. Day 1 was yesterday, and we got a lot to break down. Jalen Naylor, he's looking absolutely yoked. JJ McCarthy looks good. We'll break it all down in full on today's show. But before we do so, with football back, I'm already thinking about the division here. So if you guys want the Vikes to win the NFC North, give me a skull down below in the comment section. As Tristan saying, I can't wait for the major news. We got takeaways from OTAs, and mainly the biggest piece of major news is Jalen Naylor now rocking number 1 instead of number 83, and he also looks like he put on legitimately 25 pounds of muscle. He looks absolutely fantastic. So if you guys want the Vikes to win the NFC North, type skull down below. Dylan, you actually want to show the picture of Naylor here real quick, just so everybody can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, Naylor looks awesome. Shout out to Charlie, Thomas, Rocky, Jordan in the chat. Bryce saying, how do you think the Vikings will do this season? Hopefully very good. But here's the photo. Jalen Naylor, rocking number 1. He looks absolutely massive. I mean, this is a guy, let me see what his weight was going into last season. They had him logged in at 190 pounds. Dylan, maybe I'm crazy. He looks like he's about 210 right now. I mean, he looks filled out. Just look at the freaking arms on Jalen Naylor. I was going to make a joke on Twitter, but I decided not to about Naylor skipping leg day. But arms look good. Chest looks good. Naylor rocking number 1. I'm a big fan of it. Kevin O'Connell also joked around saying he's still getting used to Naylor rocking number 1 besides 83. But I will say, the visors look fresh. Just the wide receiver group, just the aura and the swagger they have. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. So we'll dive into a bunch of more photos from OTAs. Well, we got some quotes from Alec Lewis, and also some quotes from Kevin O'Connell talking about Will Fry. So it's a loaded show today. But before we do so, we do have to talk about Game 4 tonight. The Minnesota Timberwolves, and we'll keep this mainly on the Minnesota Vikings. But I got to ask you guys this. Who you got in Game 4 tonight between the Timberwolves and the Thunder? Actually, that's my bad. It's Game 5 if you want to read only that real quick. Game 5 tonight. Timberwolves down 3-1 in this series. You guys think the Timberwolves got a chance? I think if they win tonight, it will have to be on the back of Anthony Edwards. I think if you said Anthony Edwards played a bad game in Game 4, I understand it. You would want your best player to be more aggressive, but I thought he was just giving what the defense was, or he was taking what the defense was giving him. But he definitely needs to be more aggressive tonight. I think he's going to have a 40-point game for the Timberwolves to win. So, hey, don't let him get one game. You go back to Game 6 in Minnesota. Hopefully you win that one. And then Game 7, anything can happen. But just for the diehard basketball fan I'm hoping both these series go the distance. Just give me a couple Game 5 wins. So we'll see. But Tristan saying Randall sucked Game 4. He plays only tiny bit better when we win. Yeah, Randall was a disaster. But we'll dive into more Vikings talk here. You guys, you got to let me know something. JJ McCarthy. And we'll dive into a bunch of stuff from OTAs here. But predict JJ McCarthy's stats for next season. How many yards, how many touchdowns, how many interceptions you guys think he's going to throw? You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Bryce coming in saying, who do you think wide receiver 3 will be? I think it will be Jalen Naylor at first. You just got to kind of give him the nod. He's been in the organization his entire NFL career. He knows the offense better than Rondale Moore, Ty Felton, as it stands right now. So I would probably say Jalen Naylor, but I also think it could be a by committee situation where maybe Rondale Moore gets more snaps on any given game, and then maybe Ty Felton, maybe he'll step up. But overall, I think this is a great kind of 5-man wide receiver group that the Vikings have, because even when Addison will be out for the first couple of games, I'm really not thinking the offense will take a step back. But I definitely do think Naylor will get the first nod. But Galaxy Bender saying 32 touchdowns, 7 picks, 4,200 yards. Todd coming in. What's going on, Todd? 3,600 yards, 25 touchdowns. I'll take that season. Tristan going 6,000 yards, 66 touchdowns, and 1 pick. Why do you have to include the 1 pick? Might as well just go all the way. Have a perfect season for JJ. But M. Mac, what's going on, Brody? Saying 2,850 yards with 24 tuds and 12 interceptions. KP Beast going 35 touchdowns with the weapon he has to like 10 to 15 interceptions, hopefully more than 3,800 yards. Allen going 3,600, 32 TDs, 8 picks. Charlie, almost similar to Allen, right above, 3,600, 32 TDs, and 7 interceptions. For me, I think the Vikings will obviously lean more into the run game this season, so I don't even think he'll have the opportunity to put up the numbers Sam Darnold did. Now, obviously, game script and just game flow will have a big impact because the Vikings get down early. They're going to be, throwing the ball a lot more. But if I had to predict it for JJ, I don't know if he'll reach the 4,000-yard mark this season. I'm going to go 3,500 yards around there. I'll go 26 touchdowns, and I'll go 6 interceptions. But also on top of that, I'm going to go 500 yards on the ground and 5 touchdowns on the ground. I think that's the one thing we are all sleeping on as Vikings fans is just dual threat ability. This guy's an athlete. It may not be something we see in the first half of the season, but the second half of the year, watch out for KOC to really open up the playbook and maybe use some read option games, some quarterback design runs. Like he had that in his bag at Michigan, and there was one play in the Rose Bowl which I love so much from JJ. It was like a 3rd and 2 situation, game-winning drive, balls around midfield. They ran a read option. He took it up the right sideline for a big-time game, so watch out for that being another wrinkle in KOC's playbook this upcoming season. But we're getting some news. Earlier on today, I posted a show talking about Jalen Ramsey. And I'll just ask you guys this. Should the Vikings trade for Jalen Ramsey? Give me a T for trade. Give me a P for pass. You guys let me know your thoughts down below. In terms of Ramsey trade, I'm pretty all in on it. I understand you're taking on his contract, but maybe the Dolphins could also eat some of that money. You might have to include a better draft pick if that's the situation, but I would do it, man. Listen, if the Vikings were in a different spot where, maybe we were, I said this earlier, but let's just say we were like a team like the New Orleans Saints or like the, Carolina Panthers, kind of one of these bottom feeders in the NFL where they're not, close to contending for a championship, I would not trade for Jalen Ramsey. But the Vikings are in a spot where they're kind of looking for that cherry on top, where they're looking for maybe they already have the cherry on top and they're just looking for some sprinkles. I think Jalen Ramsey could be that. He's an extremely versatile player. Flores likes that out of his corners, slot, outside corner, can play safety. He can do the whole 9. And also, he's still got a lot left in the tank. Like, this isn't a situation where Jalen Ramsey, let's just say he's a complete cooked product and, you're just taking on his contract and hoping he gets back to who he was. He was still very effective this past season for Miami. So I would be in on it. Hopefully you only have to give up a 5th-round pick, but also I'll be willing to maybe give up a 3rd-round pick if Miami eats majority of his salary. But I would do it, man. And plus, let's just say Ramsey doesn't work out. You would just create more depth at that position. Or then, like Mekhi Blackman, Isaiah Rodgers, they wouldn't, be expected to be the surefire, cornerback 2, cornerback 3, where you would add Ramsey in. It would just bump everybody down the line. I would do it. Maybe it's just this time of the offseason where I just want the Vikings to make a move, but I think it'll be a good call. But it obviously comes down to how much money the Dolphins are going to eat and, what type of draft pick the Vikings will include. Now, I will say, Todd saying too much of a problem child. There were some weird reports coming out of Miami about certain blue chip players on their team not showing up to meetings on time, not showing up to practice all time, and people connected the dots. There's no real reporting about this, but they're just assuming it's Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill. I will say that wouldn't be an issue with the Vikings. And I think that's just, again, speaks to the Kevin O'Connell culture. Everybody's bought in, and we'll talk about it on our first segment today. 100% attendance at OTAs. That's great stuff. There's a true buy-in with this whole group. And I think Ramsey, even though, maybe he's acting like a jackass with the Dolphins, I don't think that would be a situation in Minneapolis compared to Miami and with Kevin O'Connell's culture compared to Mike McDaniel's culture. So I would do it. And yeah, like Alan said, in KOC, we believe. Shout out to you. But coming up on today's show, we'll talk about the major takeaways from OTAs. We got a lot of photos. It's going to be a lot of fun to, go through all that. And then ESPN, probably some of the most lazy reporting I have ever seen. I want to tease this for you guys. Screw it. I'll come out and say it. So second segment today, ESPN was writing up an article just talking about the NFC North. And It was their football power index. And, you know, they were a little disrespectful to the Vikings. But in this article, Seth Walder of ESPN said J.J. McCarthy last year tore his ACL. News to me, I had no idea. I thought it was a torn meniscus, but apparently ESPN, again, is saying the torn ACL. I want somebody, and if anybody's watching this right now who has time to do this, go back this offseason and just compile all the clips of other NFL media members saying that J.J. McCarthy tore his ACL and didn't tear his meniscus. Like Cowherd has said it. Nick Wright has said it. Jason McIntyre on Cowherd's show has said it. And now we even have a writer for ESPN saying he tore his ACL. Now, he did go back in the article and edit it, but screenshots live forever. I just can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. And then also we'll have a mailbag. So use the hashtag Vikings in the comments section. And if you guys are ready to roll, hit that thumbs up icon. Once we get the 30 likes, we're just 5 likes away. We'll start today's show. So 5 more people, hit that thumbs up button. Shout out to Tristan saying hit that like button, people. Shout out to you, Brody. But yeah, we will be diving into a mailbag. So if you guys want to get featured on the show, you guys can also super chat. If you guys want to donate to the channel, it's just a dollar icon at the bottom of the chat. We really, really, really do appreciate it. But again, hashtag Vikings. Ask anything around this football team. It could be even an NFL take, an NFC North take, or even if you want to talk about some Timberwolves basketball. Anything you guys want to talk about, please, hashtag Vikings down below in the live chat. So we got Roger Bong in the building. What's going on, Raj? Roger, you fired up for the season, man? I can't wait. This is going to be season number 3 of Roger Bong joining the show. Can't believe it. El Jefe saying, I still believe in Naylor. Felton seems like an undersized bubble screen type of receiver. El Jefe, I thought the same thing about Felton, but after seeing some photos of him at rookie minicamp, the dude's a lot bigger than we thought. He truly looks like a 6'1", long arms, great hands catcher as well. So I think there's a little more of the Felton's game that was showed on tape during his time at Maryland. So I'm very high on him. And also, the beautiful thing about being a Vikings fan, and I don't take this for granted at all, wide receivers just work here. And it's all because of Keenan B. Cardell. And plus, think about this. Like, if you're a rookie wide receiver, Ty Felton, 3rd-round pick, really no expectations heading into the year, well, you're going to have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison helping you along. And then you got Keenan B. Cardell as your wide receiver coach. You got Josh McCown, QB coach. You got Kevin O'Connell as your head coach. Like, if you're an offensive skill player, you got to love playing for the Minnesota Vikings. So shout out to Keenan B. Cardell. He is, the best in the game, and I think eventually he's going to get an offensive coordinator position. Hopefully, if I was the Vikings, I would seriously offer him a lifetime deal. Be like, hey, we'll pay you. I don't care, wide receiver coach making $5 million a year. We'll give you $5 million a year for the rest of your life. Just stay in Minnesota. But Giants fan 1 saying, yo, I'm back. What's going on, man? Do you think the Vikings will have a number one defense? I hope so. I mean, they got the talent to do so. They got the defensive coordinator to do so, but, we'll see. That sports guy saying probably not, but top 7 for sure. Charlie saying top 5. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Abby Skull, that's what we're going to talk about on the second segment. Alan Wolf saying, I like the wide receiver 3 battle. It's only going to make them better, and that's a good problem to have, especially being that Addison may miss 3 games. 100%, Alan. Those guys are going to battle it out, and, honestly, I'm excited to see the wide receiver room without Addison. Like, obviously, Addison's an incredible talent, man. 1st-round pick for a reason. One of the best wide receiver 2s in the league. But I cannot wait to see also how Kevin O'Connell handles it because, Jefferson, I will say, Jefferson is going to hate his life during the first couple of weeks without Addison. He is going to be getting safety help over the top. He's going to have linebackers shading his direction. He'll also have a guy probably manned up one-on-one with him. So he'll have, probably 4 to 6 eyeballs on him on every single play. But I'm just curious to see how Felton, Moore, Naylor, all these guys get used in the offense. But, obviously, we'll wait and see as El Jefe is saying, haha, ESPN is lazy. What's new? Oh, I cannot wait to talk about the second segment, man. I cannot wait. But we got 92 people in the building. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. We're going to dive into some OTAs takeaways. If you guys are ready to roll, type skull down below in the comments section, and let's dive into it. Vikings football is back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, it's a fun one. We're just going to be diving into some of the top takeaways from day 1 and 2 of Vikings OTAs. A lot to break down on today's show. It's truly, it feels good because football is just around the corner, and we're just getting a little taste of it right now in the off season. But before we dive into it, if you guys could help us reach our next milestone here on the channel, we're closing in on 57,000 subscribers. We just need 59 more of you guys to go down there and hit that subscribe button. So if you guys could, it would be greatly appreciated. If we could hit 57K off today's show, that would be awesome. And also, if you guys are subscribed to the channel, type Skull down below in the comment section so I know where all the real ones are at. All right, so the first takeaway here, we got to start off with the quarterback. Starting off with J.J. McCarthy, and my first takeaway is first team J.J. McCarthy. He was getting the first team reps. We can finally put this to bed of, is J.J. McCarthy going to be in a quarterback battle? Are they going to go sign Aaron Rodgers? He's QB1, and that was crystal clear the first 2 days of OTAs. But Alec Lewis, shout out to him. Great follow on Twitter. Works for The Athletic, covering the Minnesota Vikings. Fantastic stuff that he does. But he tweeted this out saying, a lot of good stuff at Vikings OTAs today. It's early, but thought J.J. McCarthy looked like the same guy who was starting to really impress late fall. Same zip. Anticipation bounced. Almost all of the starters were present and active, which is also great news there. But it was also better news that he didn't lose any of his athleticism. He didn't lose any of the zip he had on the ball. And actually, JJ said, I'm feeling bigger, stronger, and faster compared to what I was last year. And we'll cycle through photos here. You can just kind of tell. Like, his arms look a lot bigger. He's got that football neck going right now, and he looks great. Also, he's rocking leg sleeves, and he's got one his left arm with the full sleeve. I think it looks awesome. But, he's looking the part at OTAs. And, I saw a couple clips on Twitter. I wish we could show them on the show. But the zip is definitely there on the football. And if you guys remember, at the scouting combine, when he was coming out, he threw the fastest pass at 62 miles an hour out of anybody in that class. And in that class, it featured Joe Milton, who threw the ball 61 miles per hour. But also this last photo, I love it. J.J. McCarthy breaking down the huddle. Justin Jefferson just oozing with aura with the visor. Number 18 looks great. And my favorite quote from Kevin O'Connell's press conference was this: J.J. is an energy igniter. I love that phrase. An energy igniter. That's who J.J. McCarthy is. And a lot of these guys, when they've hopped on podcasts, mainly some of his teammates, and they've just been talking about J.J. McCarthy this offseason, they all talk about that contagious energy. And I'm sure you guys know people in your life who are like that, where then they step in that room, maybe you work with them every single day, and when you're around them, you just feel that energy that radiates off them, and it just elevates everybody's performance. J.J. McCarthy's that guy times 100. So I love that quote from KOC saying J.J. is an energy igniter. But also this might be my favorite takeaway. Jalen Nailor, he is looking absolutely jacked. He looked like he put on 15 pounds of muscle this offseason. That is Jalen Nailor. Number 1 is Jalen Nailor. When I first saw this photo on Twitter, I was like, who is rocking number 1 first off? Do the Vikings have a new wide receiver I have not heard about? No, that is Speedy Nailor. Kevin O'Connell was also joking around that he's still getting used to Nailor wearing number 1 compared to number 83. But maybe I'm tripping. Jalen Nailor weighed in at 190 pounds last offseason. He's looking like he's 205, maybe even pushing 210. I mean, the biceps, the chest, like he just looks like he really filled out that frame, which we'll see if that improves his game heading into the season. But, I definitely do think a big storyline throughout OTAs, throughout training camp, is going to be that battle for wide receiver 3. And I think Nailor deserves the nod, probably, honestly, leading up to week 1. I think week 1, he should be the wide receiver 3. He honestly will probably be the wide receiver 2 with Addison getting suspended. But I love Ty Felton. I love Rondell Moore. Both those guys, I think, are going to be awesome in this system. But I just think the Vikings just need to lean into Jalen Nailor. Clearly, he was putting in a lot of work this offseason. Looks like he put on 15 pounds of muscle. Also, rocking number 1, I bet you he will look faster out there on the football field compared to number 83. So shout out to Jalen Nailor putting in that work this offseason, and he's looking great. And number 3 for me, I put down 18 doing 18 things. Talking about Justin Jefferson here. He was in attendance. I think this is his first time in the last 2 seasons he was at OTAs, but he was there. Same with Jordan Addison, which is great to see. Also, Addison looks a little bigger as well, which is awesome stuff. But I do remember last offseason when the Vikings were in this kind of transition period where they were moving off, the Kirk Cousins era of Minnesota, and also like Danielle Hunter was walking out the door. Like a lot of these leaders over the last couple of years were gone. And Justin Jefferson, he was talking about it like, yeah, I'm going to be the new leader. I'm going to take that personal. And also, I was looking at his contract. He has no workout bonuses. He is showing up because he wants to. These are voluntary workouts. Number 18 does not need to be there. He could still be working out in Miami. If you guys haven't seen the video on Twitter, old Vikings wide receiver Stephon Diggs, he was on a boat with Cardi B, and he missed Patriots OTAs day one, and he's supposed to be the wide receiver 1. Like, I am so grateful that number 18, he is all about business. All he cares about is football. All of this off-the-field nonsense, it doesn't really impact, his goal and what he wants to accomplish. And he has made this crystal clear. He doesn't care about yards. He doesn't care about his own production. He just cares about winning. And I remember after that Bears game last year when he had 2 receptions for 27 yards, but the offense exploded. And he was asked after the game, like, hey, how do you feel about the lack of production today? And he was like, I don't care. Like, Jordan Addison went for over 100. Hawkinson went for over 100. We still ate as an offense. So I love this mentality out of Jefferson. And let's show him some love because I honestly think, I really do think we take it for granted just having him on our football team. Because we're just used to it now. Like I titled it, 18 doing 18 things. It's just who he is. But show him some love. Type his jersey number down below. Shout out to Justin Jefferson, man. Truly one of my favorite players, honestly, in any sport of all time. So shout out to 18, man. But also, Will Fries. He looks good. Now, he is rehabbing the injury that knocked him out all of last season. And he will be very limited during the spring. But Kevin O'Connell had a hilarious quote about Will Fries, and he says he is doing crazy things in the weight room. Now, obviously, he can't fully be out there on the practice field just yet. Still rehabbing from that injury, but if he's putting up crazy numbers in the weight room, that's awesome stuff. Also, Ryan Kelly, new center, dude looks absolutely yoked. He looks bigger than Garrett Bradbury did with pads on, or without pads on, compared to Bradbury actually with pads. Like, Ryan Kelly looks like a freak, but also Will Fries, he'll be ready to go for training camp. This is what KOC had to say, saying there's still a chance we see him in some bits and pieces over the next 2 weeks, but he is in a really good spot, and he also hinted that he will be ready to go for training camp, which is good news. And, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that offensive line. He also mentioned Donovan Jackson was working in with the first team at the left guard spot. Blake Brandel was hopping back and forth from left guard to right guard. So we'll probably see, I'm assuming we'll eventually get a look at the first team offensive line. I would assume Will Fries, if he's missing time, though, to shove Blake Brandel into that right guard spot, give Donovan Jackson the nod at left guard. So we'll wait and see how it plays out, but still good news there on our guy, Willie Fries. Now, we'll dive into the last takeaway here in a second, but if you guys want to get a new Vikings hoodie today, hit that link, chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. If you do hit that link, hoodies are up to 50% off right now, so you guys can get any Vikings sweatshirt you want. These things are awesome, and take advantage of this deal because they're on sale right now because it's the summertime. And, once the summertime comes and goes, they won't be up to 50% off. So take advantage of this deal right now. Got that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show. But chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. Get a Vikings hoodie today. So my favorite takeaway from OTAs was 100% attendance. Every single player, every single star was at practice. And I'm honestly already starting to trying to live in the moment for this start of this new era of Vikings football. Because honestly, thinking back of last year, how quickly it went by, I wish I was able to live in the moment a little more and be more present in the season. So and honestly, I asked you guys to do the same thing. This will be a special year. So even if it's just an OTAs practice, if it's a training camp video that you see, just enjoy every moment, because I saw somebody tweet out, it was hysterical. It was the video of J.J. McCarthy tossing the ball at OTAs and was like, is this how Chiefs fans felt in 2018 seeing Patrick Mahomes? Obviously, drinking a little purple Kool-Aid saying that, but it truly may be a special year. This team is bought in. They view, their goal as a Super Bowl, and just enjoy every moment of it. It's going to be a ton of fun, and I can't wait to experience all with you guys. Like, I feel like even though it's OTAs, it feels like it's back, and can't wait for that first preseason game even, man. It's going to be a ton of fun. So, hey, if you guys made it to the end of today's show, hit me with a skull down below in the comments section so I can know where all the real ones are at. But we really appreciate all of you guys for watching today's program. We will see y'all next time. As always, Skol Vikes. Alrighty, shout out to all the real ones. Alan saying, I'm so ready for football. I know, I started talking right there, and I started firing myself up, or I just can't wait, man. I can't wait. Shout out to Steven in the building. Funny boy Roddy in the house. Michael Dahman typing Skol. Tim Thorpe in the building. What's going on? Abby Skol saying, out of all the players the Vikings brought in this offseason, who have the biggest impact? Allen, Hargrave, Mason, or somebody else? We'll break that down on our mailbag. Corey Miller coming in with a $2 super chat. Appreciate you, Corey. Skol Pat Seeps. Stat predictions for Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner, what is he going to rock this year? I'm hoping he gets more reps than he did last season. I think that will be the case. I'll go 8 sacks. I'll go 8 sacks. Maybe 12 tackles for loss. Maybe he has a couple PBUs. He had that interception in Seattle last year, which was awesome. I'm gonna go 8 sacks for Turner, and that's assuming he's still kind of a rotational guy. So yeah, that's why I'll go. I'll go 8 sacks. But Corey, I appreciate you. The dude looks awesome though. I saw an off-season workout of him. He looks like, again, he put on 15 pounds of muscle. His fluidity and just the way he moves, it's truly in that 1% of athletes. His bend he has at his size. And if you guys forget, before the season, and the season before the draft, this guy was supposed to be a top 5 pick. Ended up falling a little bit. Didn't have a great year at Alabama. But, the guy's an unreal talent, and he's also only 22 years old. Once he starts getting that grown man strength on him, he's just more familiar in the NFL life. He should be a stud. I have no concern with him not working out or not panning out for this defense. But we will be diving into a mailbag in about 20 minutes or so. So if you guys got a question for me, just like Abby Skol just did in the live chat, hashtag Vikings or super chat to get up on today's show. You just put a question in the live chat and you put hashtag Vikings. We'll put your name. We'll put your profile picture up on screen, but it'll be a lot of fun. And then we are going to be diving into our ESPN is lazy segment. I cannot wait for this right there. I already knocked out segment number 1 today. I can't wait, man, to talk to you guys about this because it's just absolutely ridiculous. And I kind of want to rant. I'm going to use this as a therapy session for myself, so you guys can just hear me just spew out. I don't know about hatred, but just maybe my disgust with ESPN. I don't know. They were just being incredibly lazy in this article that was written up. But again, mailbag coming up. Hashtag Vikings. Funny boy Roddy, get a question in there. Jared Avery, get a question in there. Tristan, you may already have a question in there, but I want another one from you. Tracy, Tim, Rocky, all of you guys, get a question in there. And there's Old Red. Every single live show dropping that comment. My man, shout out to you, Brody. Old Red, get a question in there for the mailbag. But are you guys ready to talk about ESPN and this embarrassing article that Seth Walder, I believe is his name. Yeah, Seth Walder wrote up. We'll talk about it, man. But it's something. It's something. But Dylan, if you're ready to go, we can dive on into it. Let's talk about ESPN, baby. It's that time of the NFL offseason where big-time sports media companies just have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings. And today, ESPN is the latest culprit of that, and they embarrassed themselves yet again talking about the Minnesota Vikings. My name is Patrick Siepman. Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. And coming up on today's show, ESPN was throwing some shade at our QB1, J.J. McCarthy. So let's start it off with this. If you believe in number 9, J.J. McCarthy, hit that thumbs up icon. I put today's goal as over 500 likes. It would be awesome if we could crush that. So if you guys scroll down, see we're not at 500 likes, help me out and hit that thumbs up icon. You never know. What if JJ McCarthy's watching today's show and he looks down, he sees 5 million likes out of Vikings fans supporting him. So hit that thumbs up icon and let's dive into it. So Seth Walder, shout out to Dylan for finding a photo of him. That's awesome. He dropped his football power index. Now, this is just kind of ranking. It's pretty much like a power rankings, kind of ranking each and every team, giving some projections on where they could land next season. And he had the Vikings about middle of the pack. This is what he had to first say on the NFC North. It's not a big surprise, but every team in the NFC North ranks in the top half of the football power index ratings. Detroit leads the way at number 4, followed by the Packers at number 8, and then the Minnesota Vikings at 15, and the Bears at 16. We'll talk about that BS ranking here in a second, but first, the NFC North is a wagon. I was saying earlier this offseason, I think maybe the AFC West could compete with the North in terms of the best division in football. I'm going to walk that back. I think this division is going to be a gauntlet this year, and if any team in this division, like the Lions last year, go 6-0, you just got to tip your cap. And, if you do go 6-0 in the NFC North, you'll probably win 15 games to get the number 1 seed, just like the Lions did this past season. But the NFC North is a wagon. I understand that. But the Packers being at number 8 and the Vikings at 15, I don't understand that whatsoever. But this is the part where ESPN embarrasses themselves. Seth Walder writing this. If there is a curveball, it's that Minnesota ranks only 15th after going 14-3 in 2024. But the Vikings relied on their defense, which ranked 3rd in EPA per play last season, while ranking a mediocre 15th on offense. And even though Brian Flores remains as defensive coordinator, defensive success is hard to replicate. Plus, second-year quarterback JJ McCarthy is an unknown after missing his rookie season with a torn ACL. This is not a typo. This is exactly what he wrote in his article. While he might possess more upside than last year's starter Sam Darnold, McCarthy's downside is almost certainly lower. Therefore, the FPI gives Minnesota only a 19% chance to win the division and a 43% chance to reach the playoffs. And we can just address the elephant in the room here. ACL, come on. Like, Cowherd said it was a torn ACL before. Multiple NFL media members have just frankly gotten this flat out wrong, and I can't understand it. We here at Chat Sports, we have a boss. If my boss, James Yoder, saw me writing an article about the Minnesota Vikings and I said torn ACL over torn meniscus, I might be canned. This is just lazy. And also the editor. If you're going in there and you're reading this and you're like, oh, well, JJ didn't tear his ACL, he tore his meniscus. How does that get published? And then we can also just dive in, to the part of this that really bothered me because, so what? He called it torn ACL. I don't really care. But this makes zero sense. How could you possibly think the Vikings defense will get worse? Brian Flores is back. The only player they lost from last season is Cameron Bynum, and I think Cameron Bynum might have been better for his for his dances than what he actually did on the field. I don't get this as at all whatsoever. For just saying, oh, Vikings defense won't replicate it. It's just hard to replicate success on the defensive side of the football. We'll dive into this. So Vikings last year, their defensive ranks, they're 5th in points per game, gave up the 13th, they were 13th in yards per game, 10th in yards per play, 2nd in third down percentage, 2nd best against the run. Just simple. How do you become a Super Bowl defense? You stop the run, you don't give up a lot of points. Vikings are also 2nd in sacks, and you get off the field on 3rd down. They're going to be able to do that again next season. And also, I swear, maybe ESPN just wasn't paying attention at 7:30 in the morning, day 2 of NFL free agency. What was the weakest point of the Vikings defense last year? I think it was in the interior of their defensive line. Well, what do? You go get Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. The Vikings were 2nd in sacks last season, and they struggled to get home with 4. Imagine how dominant this defense is going to be with their ability to just roll out Allen, Hargrave, Van Ginkel, Turner, Grenard, send all 5. They stand no chance. Even if you need to drop Turner or Van Ginkel in the coverage, one of those guys is going to get home. I don't understand this. I'll explain, again, more on why I think these NFL media members think this way around the Vikings here in a second. But I ask you guys this. Pick a sports company for me. You rocking with us here at Chat Sports? Give me a CS down below in the comment section. If you're rocking with ESPN, you can just tell on yourself and you can type, I'm a casual. Because I guarantee you there are a lot of people out there who just read that article and they're going to buy into it. So if you mess with us here at Chat Sports, drop a CS. If you rock with ESPN, type I'm a casual down below in the comment section. So it's also that time of the offseason where I tell myself this every single year, and I was telling producer Dylan this. I want this Bears media love to not impact my life. But again, it has. The media wants the Bears to be good so bad. Like, I think if you polled every NFL media member and you said who's going to be better, Bears or Vikings, I bet you it would be 70% leaning with the Bears over the Vikings. But again, Seth Walder, our guy, was hyping up the Bears, talking about how good their offseason was. Meanwhile, the Bears moved in the opposite direction of the Vikings. That was a crazy add-in right there. After Chicago finished 24th in total efficiency, EPA per play adjusted for garbage time last season, the FPI sees it as a minimal above-average team entering 2025. The reasons for optimism are obvious. The Bears brought in new head coach Ben Johnson and added significant talent to their offensive line, and a quarterback, Caleb Williams, now has a season of NFL experience, even if that experience was shaky. Seth, did the Vikings not add talent to their offensive line? I could make an argument the additions of Will Fries and Ryan Kelly are going to be more impactful than Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, and Joe Tooney. Like, at least Fries and Kelly are coming from the same thing, and we know continuity and chemistry among the offensive line is so key. But again, shout out to the three-time offseason champs. And these guys who make these predictions where it's like, this is the year the Bears are going to turn around. This is the year. Eventually, they're going to be right, and the Bears will eventually have a good year. But you can't just say the same thing every single offseason and just hope you're right. Again, the Bears 3 times in a row, they're the dark horse Super Bowl team. I guarantee you, I promise you at some point this year, we will get multiple articles. Caleb Williams, is he a dark horse MVP candidate? We were doing the same thing with Justin Fields 3 years ago. And, my biggest issue and why I get so fired up about this is it all comes back to J.J. McCarthy. And I understand, it's his first year starting. He doesn't have a lot of experience. I get that. But why won't people give the Vikings roster as a whole any credit? Football, team sport. The most team sport out of all major sports. The other 52 guys on this roster are studs. They got top-end talent. They got great depth. They're loaded at every single position. Like, why won't people just give the rest of this team credit? And it just all comes back to these lazy takes. Like, if you ask people, what are your thoughts on, the Minnesota Vikings heading in the next season? It's always, what if J.J. McCarthy isn't the guy? What if J.J. McCarthy ends up being a bust? What if he is the damn guy? What if J.J. McCarthy is a top 10 quarterback right away? How are we going to be talking about this Vikings team? Because the same thing happened last offseason and the NFL media got burned. Where, again, I was up here on the show. I predicted the Vikings go 10-7. I undersold that. But I remember people were calling me crazy because it's like, dude, you don't have a quarterback. And I understood that. Like, it was just Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy. But if you looked at the rest of the team and you look at the coaching staff, it's A+ at every single other position. This same thing happened last year. And it's happening again this year. The Vikings win total was 6.5 before entering last season. They won 14 games. It's 8.5 this year. I guarantee you they're going to win more than 9 football games. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the Minnesota blinders or, you think about this on paper. You had Kevin O'Connell, just won Coach of the Year. You got the best weapon in the National Football League. You got a great offensive line. You have 2 good running backs. You have an elite front 7 of the defense. Secondary, is there a lot of top-end talent, but you still got some veterans and you still got some dogs there. And then you got Brian Flores, probably a top 3 defensive coordinator, if not the best defensive coordinator. The same thing is going to happen again. And again, I am doing a bad job of this. I told myself I'm not going to get fired up over other people talking about my football team, but I'm going to be honest. I like hearing what ESPN and like Fox Sports, all these guys have to say about the Vikings, but sometimes I just need to turn the TV off because they don't know what they're talking about, and I just can't wait for the season because the Vikings have a very gettable schedule early, and I think they're going to start off 4-1, 5-0 again, and I can't wait to see how they're going to spin zone it because also last year during the year, you guys remember how tough the Vikings schedule was on paper during the first 5 games. Where it was like, who did the Vikings play week 1 last year? They were in New York against the Giants, and they beat the Niners, they beat the Texans, they beat the Packers in Green Bay. And remember, the NFL media just kept saying, Sam Darnold's going to turn into a pumpkin eventually. Now, they were a little right on that week 18 and wildcard round, but they just will never give this team credit. And I'm cool with it. I would honestly want it this way, but I don't know. Just the Bears love, the Packers love, yada, yada, all this nonsense. I just it gets me fired up, man. It gets me excited for the season. But it all comes back to J.J. McCarthy. Let's show him some love to close out today's show. Type those 9s down below in the comments section, and we'll see you guys next time. As always, let's go Vikes. Alrighty, shout out to the real ones in the building. Sorry, I had to go on a little rant there. I was trying to find out what I wanted to talk about in my second segment. I just need to get some stuff off my chest, so I appreciate you guys sticking through all that. Yeah, Abby Skoll. Why do people act like JJ was a 7th-round pick who was missing a leg? 100%. 100%. It's like this guy was the 10th overall pick, and we're acting like this guy is like a Make-A-Wish kid starting for the Vikings. It's incredible. Good offense, great offensive line, great running backs, great coaching staff, great weapons. You also have continuity with this group too. Like, yeah, you are, big change at quarterback. Not, saying that won't maybe take an adjustment time, but the rest of the team pretty much stayed the same on a team that just won 9 games or 14 games last season. El Jefe, Make-A-Wish kid. That's what they're acting like. They're acting like the Vikings are starting J.J. McCarthy out of a charity case. I just people are going to learn who number 9 is very quickly. And again, it comes back to the pre-draft scout on who J.J. was. He's a handoff merchant. They didn't ask him to do it at Michigan. Oh, remember that Penn State game, Dylan? He didn't throw the ball in the second half. I have heard that 1,000 times in my life. And again, just because he didn't ask him to do it doesn't mean he can't. He was the best quarterback in college football on 3rd and long situations. He's got the highest winning percentage out of any Big Ten quarterback ever. He's lost 4 games since his freshman year of high school. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go for the season. El Jefe, he's won championships at every level. Don't think it's for pure dumb luck. Yeah, he's a winner. He's a winner. With all the weapons we have, we need Joe to be, or JJ to be just as good, and we will win 11 games. I think I will give credit to somebody at ESPN. Benjamin Solak said, even if JJ McCarthy is the 24th best quarterback in the league this season, he expects the Vikings to win 12 games. I totally agree with that. Maybe not 12, but maybe around 10 to 11. But still, point being, the rest of this roster is too good. And Tommy Wood, yeah, 100%. The schedule is rough, but also when people are looking at the Vikings on the schedule, they're saying that's a tough game. Oh, we got to come to US Bank Stadium. That's not an easy place to play. Only lost 1 game there last year, and that was against the Lions on that week 7 game almost broke me. That should have been a win. When Ivan Pace had that scoop and score up the right sideline, I thought we were going to the Super Bowl. I thought we were winning the Super Bowl, but I'm not being the case. We'll see. I'm just fired up for the season. I just enjoy the process of this whole thing. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I feel like we're entering an era of Vikings football that we will remember for the rest of our lives. And it's so easy for teams to kind of get stuck in that middle purgatory zone in the NFL, and the Vikings were kind of there with Kirk Cousins, and the fact that Kwesi was able to get us into a Super Bowl contender without really going through a rebuild or a whole retool is pretty damn impressive. Corey Miller saying that first the JJ touchdown will hit like crack. Corey, it may hit harder than crack. I don't like that's going to be the biggest rush of dopamine I think I've ever felt in my life. This dude needs to borrow Paul Allen's cheerleader pom poms. Can two diehard Vikings fans not be optimistic about their favorite football team? We won 14 games last season, BS. I'm all in. I'm all in. Paul Allen's pom poms. Is PA big on the Vikes this year? I'm sure he is. Corey saying we'll hit like heroin instead of crack. Okay. Listen, if you just like, I always try to look at this team as if I wasn't a Vikings fan. I would be all in on the Vikes even if I wasn't a fan. Like, good roster, good coaching staff. Keep it simple. I think they'll be a good team no matter what. If they will be a great team, it's going to come down to J.J. McCarthy. If he's a top 20 guy, top 15 guy, top 10 guy, that will be the difference. That will be the difference. But we will dive into a mailbag here in just a second. But hashtag Vikings, get those questions in there. We're going to need more questions. So if you guys haven't asked one already, please do so. Or if you guys want to support the show, just send us a super chat. Great, free, easy way to help support us here at Vikings Now by Chat Sports. It's just a dollar icon. You guys can skip the line for a mailbag. Your question will be thrown up on screen first. But again, hashtag Vikings. Please get those questions in there. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Being a Vikings fan for 50 years, I don't set myself up for failure. No high expectations this or any year. And BS saying, is PA big on the Vikes? Yeah, no, of course PA is big on the Vikings. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't expect the Vikings to go to the Super Bowl this season. At all. I expect them to be in the playoffs, and depending on the matchup, I expect them to win a playoff game. I would be disappointed if the Vikings did not make the playoffs this season. And it may sound crazy with J.J. McCarthy starting this first year, but what if he's the guy? What if he's C.J. Stroud? What if he's Jaden Daniels? How are we going to be talking about this team? I'd rather take the optimistic view compared to the pessimistic view on the situation. And plus, it's not like blind faith I have in McCarthy. Like, there's substance behind my belief on who he is as a quarterback person. He's going to be a great leader. Even today when he was talking, maybe that's also why Cowherd doesn't like him. He was rocking a backwards hat again. So maybe if he turned that hat around, maybe these big-time media guys would like him. Regarding PA, does the sun rise in the east? Yeah. PA's predicting a Super Bowl already, and I love it. Rob Jigga, Seeps, you come to the Giants Stadium to watch Vikings versus Giants this season. You do a great job here, but miss you on Giants chat. Yeah, no, I miss the Giants faithful as well. Unfortunately, we would not be going, but that would be awesome. If I was going, I would hit you up in a heartbeat, Rob. Hopefully we get a little Jackson Dart in that game. I'm hoping the Giants are in free fall and we get a little Dart versus JJ action. But we're going to dive into this mailbag. Last call here, hashtag Vikings. We need more questions. So if you guys could, Corey Miller, appreciate the question. Tommy Wood, if you could get a question in there. BS, get a question about Paul Allen in there. Anything you want to talk about, we'll break it down. Got 5. All right, we need more questions in there. If you guys could help me out. And we'll start this mailbag. But hashtag Vikings or Super Chat. Drop anything you want to talk about in the live chat right now. Get a question in there. Tommy, you got me. I appreciate you, Brody. I want to get a bunch of Vikings fans' thoughts on today's show. El Jefe, get me a question in there. Robo Glock, if you got a question, get it in there. Anything you want to talk about the Minnesota Vikings, let it rip in the comments section. Hashtag Vikings or Super Chat to get up on the show. Trey Brown, what's your second favorite team? Probably the practice squad for the Vikes. Chicken Muncher, appreciate you. What a name. Who do you know consider blue chippers after free agency in the draft? That's a good question. Appreciate you. But hashtag Vikings, get those questions in there. We'll talk about anything. You said who? Yeah, Trey Brown, you're asking good questions. If you could use hashtag Vikings, that would be great. Seeps Tankathon has you guys drafting 18th overall in 2026. It's going to be more closer to 30, Rob, but there we go. Appreciate you guys getting questions in there. El Jefe, if you could just copy that same thing you just put in, but just add hashtag Vikings to it. That'd be great. Abby Skoll, love that question. Love that question. I appreciate you. All righty, we should be ready to roll. Appreciate you guys. But again, hashtag Vikings, and also if we are in the middle of the mailbag, just send in a super chat or just throw your question in there, and we'll get it up on screen. Shout out to Trey Brown, Chicken Muncher. Shout out to you, Brody. Thank you. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Ooh, El Jefe. Bombshell question. Alrighty. If you guys are ready to rock and roll, Dylan, let's dive into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the show. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we got a mailbag where it's just me and you talking about the Minnesota Vikings. And the first question coming in here from Purple People Eater. Who is the most underrated player on the Minnesota Vikings? All right, so we're not talking the Jeffersons. We're not talking the Darisaws. Easy. Just came to my head. Jordan Mason, 100%. I think he's a top 10 running back in the league. I think for fantasy football players, even though it will be a split backfield, you could probably get him later in your draft. I think Jordan Mason's going to have a monster year. All of the advanced numbers at the running back position, like rushing yards over expected versus like a stacked box, yards after contact, all of these like advanced numbers for the running back, Jordan Mason excels in them. And if you go look at like a flow chart from last year on some of those advanced stats, it's like Jordan Mason, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, they're all at the top. So most underrated on offense, I'll go Jordan Mason. Underrated on defense, he's not underrated to Vikings fans, but I think across the NFL he is. Blake Cashman, one of the most underrated linebackers in the league. So I'll go Jordan Mason, Blake Cashman. Shout out to those two dogs. Alan Lone Wolf coming in. Do you think this is the last go-around for the Hitman and stats from this year? I do think this is the last go-around for Harry. Apparently Kevin O'Connell had to kind of pull him out of retirement this offseason. So I definitely think this is the last year. Stats from this year, I'm more curious how often he's going to play. You know, obviously Flores runs 3 safety sets 97% of the time. So I would expect him to be on the field majority of snaps. But I'll probably say he's got, give me 5 interceptions for the Hitman as a little closeout year to a beautiful, beautiful career. Most underrated safety over the last 15 years. Shout out to the Hitman. Corey Miller. What's going on, Brody? Skoll, Pat Seeps. Stat predictions for Dallas Turner. So hopefully DT gets more playing time than he did last season. I think he will. I just think Flores would be more, just more aware of him getting on the field, whether that's like Van Ginkel takes a couple more plays off or maybe he shifts into more of a hybrid linebacker edge role. Stat predictions. I'll probably say 8-9 sacks for Turner. If he gets to double digits, that'll be awesome. I think it's just going to come down to playing time, but saw a couple of videos of him working out. He looks like he put on about 10 pounds of muscle. He's still looking freaky just in terms of his athletic ability, like his bend. He's got to probably have crazy flexible hips just because some of the stuff he does is just, he's in that top 1% of athletes in the world. So I'll go 8.5 to 9 sacks for Dallas Turner. Abby Skoll. Question of the year. Why do people act like JJ was a 7th round pick who is missing a leg? I don't know. This is referring to, we were doing a show talking about ESPN and just, every person was talking about the Minnesota Vikings like, oh, well, you got JJ McCarthy as your starting quarterback. You can't possibly be good year one. He wasn't a 7th rounder. Like, people still write articles. Seth Walder did of ESPN saying he tore his ACL last year. Just wrong. This guy was a 10th overall pick. He was picked out by Kevin O'Connell in a loaded quarterback draft. That's all you need to know on JJ. Kevin O'Connell's probably one of the smartest quarterback minds in the NFL, and he saw JJ in a stacked draft class and was like, that's my guy. We want him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why people have blinders on with JJ. I think it just all comes back to their pre-draft scouting report they had on him where it's like, oh, he was a handoff merchant. He didn't throw the ball in the second half against Penn State. Like, we know the whole story there. I don't know. We'll see, though. We'll see. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong. Oh, Hefe, do you think KOC will give up the play calling duties? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think that would ever be a possibility. I mean, that's his calling card. Like, that's what got him hired to be, the head coach is, him being a lead offensive mind. I mean, if he ever gives up the play calling duties, I'm assuming his seat's getting a little warm. But, like, this whole next season, he's not. And plus, I want to have, like, him and JJ build that connection for years to come. Because let's just say, it's tough to win a Super Bowl. Let's say the Vikings don't win a Super Bowl when McCarthy's on his rookie deal, but he looks like a legit guy. Like, still just having those two build that continuity and that chemistry with each other, I think will be huge. So I hope he never gives up play calling duties, but if he does, probably means he's on the hot seat a little bit. But, yeah, I would probably say no to that question. Let me ask you guys this. A lot of optimism around the Vikings heading into next season. What is your biggest concern heading into next year? Can't say the quarterback. You cannot say J.J. McCarthy besides that, because that's an obvious concern. First year starting, yada, yada, yada. But besides that, what is your biggest concern? For me, I will probably just go the cornerback position. Like, can Byron Murphy replicate what he did last year? And can a guy like Rodgers and or Blackman step up? That'll probably be my biggest concern. But you guys, let me know your thoughts down below. We'll get to more of your guys' questions here in a sec. But first, if you guys want to get a Vikings hoodie today, they're 50% off at chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. Just click that link. They got a ton of sweatshirts and hoodies on clearance right now. And, big reason for that, it's the summertime. It's hot. So if you guys want to kind of prepare for the colder months in Minneapolis and take advantage of a sweet deal we have going on right now, chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. Click that link. This one is absolutely fresh. Got that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show. But chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. Get a hoodie to up to 50% off. Make sure you guys click that link and get yourself some more Vikings gear today. They're going to be flying off the shelf, so make sure you guys do take advantage of this deal. Tommy Wood, what's going on? You have any concerns with Darrisaw? They're listing Jackson as a left tackle. Are they really? Because Kevin O'Connell said Wednesday that he was getting spot starts at the left guard spot. I don't know where you saw that, Tommy, but concerns with Darrisaw, not really. KOC talked about it a couple months ago, saying he'll be hopefully ready to go for week one. Even if he, does have to miss week one, it would be disappointing. But, if I have any news that comes out on Darrisaw, we'll obviously talk about it. But really no, big-time concerns for him. When he's playing, he's one of the best left tackles, if not the best left tackle in the league. I was even seeing Brian Baldinger. He posted a highlight video of Darrisaw the other day, and I was just like, man, it's incredible that the Vikings were able to win 9 straight games last year without Darrisaw. He is that impactful. He made Blake Brandel look so much better than people realize. So I don't have a concern there. Not sure about the Donovan Jackson thing, but Tommy Wood, I appreciate you, Brody. Chicken Muncher, what a name. #Vikings. What do you think is the weakest, or what do you think is the Vikings is the weakest position group? I got to go with the secondary. I got to go with cornerback 2, cornerback 3. If you're just banking on Byron Murphy kind of replicating what he did last year, you got to hope Mekhi Blackman and or Isaiah Rodgers steps up. So I would definitely say the secondary. Maybe you could go like depth at linebacker, but I'll see. Chicken Muncher, I appreciate you. Trey Brown saying predict Madden 26 ratings for the Vikings. Well, Jefferson will be a 99. I think Darrisaw would be like a 94. Addison like an 88. I'm trying to think of some of these big-time names. Hawkinson will probably be up there like an 87, 86. I think Hargrave and Allen will both be around like 84s. Grenard should be at like a 92. Van Ginkel, maybe he'll be up there at like 88, 89. Trying to think of any other. Byron Murphy, maybe like an 85. We'll see. We'll see. But shout out to you, Trey Brown. Rob Jigga, what's going on, man? Seeps, Tankathon has you guys drafting 18th overall in the first in 2026. So Tankathon has the Vikings. I think that would just be just missing the playoffs. By that, I hope they're not drafting 18th. Hopefully they're drafting, in the 30s or just the high 20s. But we'll see what happens. I'm very optimistic about this team. I understand some Vikings fans are just naturally pessimistic about their football team because of the battle scars that we've endured over the last 20 years. But maybe I drink too much purple Kool-Aid, but I think this team's going to be special next season. Abby Skoll, out of all the players the Vikings brought in this offseason, who will have the biggest impact? Allen, Hargrave, Mason, or someone else? Honestly, I think it might be Jordan Mason. I'm really high on this guy. I think he is one of the most underrated running backs in the National Football League. And hopefully, with having a guy like him next to Aaron Jones, with bringing in Kelly and Fries, and just having the natural, smart mind that Kevin O'Connell is, hopefully they're able to run the ball more. And also, the Vikings, they were terrible running the ball on the goal line. They're actually the worst team in the National Football League, which is insane considering they won 14 games. So hopefully he ends up change that around. If you guys don't believe me, literally just go watch Jordan Mason highlights on YouTube. He passes the eye test, passes the highlight test, and he also passes the advanced analytics test. One of the best RYOE guys in the NFL. He's up there with Saquon and Derrick Henry this past season. So I think Jordan Mason will make a massive, massive impact. Corey Miller, what do you think of what do you make of JJ's pressers? He's impressed me a lot. Yeah, I mean, anytime he talks, he impresses me. Just a very well-spoken kid. He is way more mature than a 22-year-old should be. And, also think about it, like, he's QB1 for a billion-dollar company. He's the most important person in this entire Vikings organization. He's having a kid. He's engaged. Like, even though he is 22, he's a very mature, person for his age. And I just love his thought process on everything in life, just how he talks, how he handles himself. That's also a big reason why I am a believer in J.J. McCarthy. But, yeah, I mean, his presser really, really impressed me. Allen, who do you think is going to get more reps, Jones or Mason, this season? I think it's going to start off Aaron Jones, but I think by the end of the year, I think Jordan Mason might be top dog. Jordan Mason's a stud. I will pound the table for him this entire offseason. I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic. So shout out to Jordan Mason, man. He's going to do big-time things this year. And we'll wait and see, but I definitely still think Aaron Jones will make an impact. But who knows? Who knows? But if you guys could hit that subscribe button on your way out, help us reach 57,000 subs. We appreciate all of you guys watching today's show, and we'll see y'all next time. As always, Skol Vikes. Alrighty, appreciate everybody tuning in. Still got 111 people in the building. Shout out to you guys. BS is just being a little Vikings hater in the comments section. You're a little negative on this team, BS. Calling Dallas Turner a bust after playing 300 snaps in his rookie year. I mean, that's what you think. That's fine. Completely disagree with that. I think if you just look at the tape, you watch that one move he had on Darnell Wright. I mean, there are little flashes throughout that entire season last year that make you believe, and I think it was just the reps thing. Honestly, BS, you probably just look at the sack total from last year and you're like, oh, he's a bust. So, I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. All right. We're getting him out of here. Sorry, no politics talk on the channel. That's only... You can disagree with takes of mine. You can call me an idiot. You can go at me. Don't bring up politics. It's a sports channel, man. It's a sports channel. Oh, Abby, I know. They changed it to a torn meniscus because Vikings fans were killing him on Twitter for it. Trey Brown, you're my favorite YouTuber right now. I watch you daily. That's awesome, man. I appreciate it. Hey, I go watch YouTubers all the time. I mean, I watch YouTube every single day when I get home. So that's awesome to hear. Thanks for everything. Love your videos. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Rob Simpy saying F politics. I'm with you. I'll never dive into it. I'll never dive into politics. It's just all negative. It's all negative. Jared saying, hopefully my wife can join the Vikings. She's a Packers fan. Ha, ha, ha. Jared, I would love to be a fly on the wall on game days between the Vikings and the Packers, especially last year, like that Week 17 game. There's a lot on the line. Like, are you guys talking back and forth to each other? Are you guys talking smack? I don't know what you could do to convince her to be a Vikings fan. Just show her J.J. McCarthy clips, bro. Just show her J.J. McCarthy clips. Donzel Davis, I think you do great, bro. Appreciate you, Donzel. Thanks for tuning in. Can't wait until we get Jalen Ramsey. Oh my God, Abby Skoll. When we get that notification, when is June 2nd? Is that Sunday? I think that's Sunday. That would be sick if he gets traded when Dylan and I are in the office. The 2nd would be Monday. That's going to be awesome. We're going to probably go live for Ramsey. We'll see. Maybe I'll try to get a video out there quick. But Corey Miller, show her Jets highlights, then the door. Simpy, second best. Simpy's a Marshall Green guy. He's a New York truther, but I will take second, Simpy. I'll take second. Maybe if the Vikes beat the Giants again this year, I got to move up to number 1. That will decide who's the best at Chat Sports. And looking into going to the Vikings and Seahawks game in Seattle, that's the downside to living in Alaska is flying to watch sports. Go Vikes. How long of a flight would that be, Alaska to Seattle? I feel like it wouldn't be. That's a lot of distance to cover, but that would be like the one ideal game, like on the map to go to, is in Seattle. Hopefully you get to do that, man. That'd be sweet. Abby Skoll, that counts as abuse. Jared, yeah, we go every year to Minnesota for the Vikings and Packers, and my wife will not cave in. Is she repping Packers gear in Minnesota? Oh, God. Jeez, Jared. And I'm sure she is talking so much noise when the Packers win. Trey Brown, who's your favorite Timberwolves player of all time? KG and Anthony Edwards. I just love their mentalities. They're just awesome. You said Garnett? Yeah, Garnett's. He was even when he was on the Celtics. That was when I was growing up, but I loved Garnett. But we're gonna sign off out of here, guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in today. It was a really fun show. You guys are the best fans in the world. Cannot wait for the season. It's going to be a ton of fun. You know what also I can't wait for? Talking about turning people into Vikings fans. Producer Dylan might be giving Skull chants all year. I can't wait. But appreciate everybody. Tommy, shout out to you. Jared, shout out to you. Alan, shout out to you. Go to that game, bro. You won't regret it. Tommy, Chicken, shout out to Dylan on the 1s and 2s. And we'll get out of here. See you guys next time. As always, Skull Vikes.